I've built a dummy app that shows how a local government could, at the micro level, be planning out cycle infrastructure, so fully separated cycle infrastructure, and how we can then build some logic to run some business cases that will help assess the value of that infrastructure. So we're pulling in cycle path costs, the barrier costs. These are lineal meters. We're assigning 200 per lineal meter for a barrier, concrete barrier. Of course, these can be input from quantity surveyors or directly from manufacturers. We've made an allowance for cycle costs and painting, signage costs and painting. I've defined two separate types of cycle path. One which has to eliminate car parking, and one which is able to come in behind the car parks and preserve them. So in this instance, this is cycle path with car parking. But if we have to destroy these car parks, we change that, and we're counting out the total number of car parks removed. And then what I've done is allowed direct user input on the total number of trips per, it could be daily trips per cycle path, and this could be projected. And obviously this can be input manually, but it could also be derived from other data sources. So we get the annual person kilometers, as in how many person kilometers are there across the network, 25K, and then a total health benefit, which I'm imagining is as $1 per person kilometer. Be great to speak to some health economists, public, the relevant people in the department to work out exactly what the value of that is. The total carbon reduction as well, in terms of kilometers per trip. Kilograms per trip, or grams per trip. And then I've also started modeling out additional sort of options. Like you can imagine, hey, if we put in a cycle cafe, it could cost us $500,000 to build it. We could rent it out for XYZ, probably not $500,000. That's a bit rich. And we can start modeling out impacts on the use of cycle infrastructure. So there's a bit of a toy model here, but it's demonstrating, I guess, a mechanism by which this modeling could be done at a department level, get buy-in from key stakeholders, get benchmark data from a variety of departments, and that could be templated and hidden. And then this tool could be provided to the local governments who know, that, for instance, a cycle path on Bellevue Street is going to work, but Xin Lane it won't, for instance. And so then in the micro, they can plan out with great detail their cycling infrastructure, and by assigning some pre-baked types, cycle path with car parking, we could come up with a bunch of them. The impacts would be automatically generated. The missing piece here, the further work, would be connecting to sort of more dynamic impacts, so more complicated calculations, isochrones, as the crow fly, sort of, route optimization, and also connecting to data sources such as ABS, forecast data, mode share data, which would, rather than the individual user filling out the likely number of trips, we could get an algorithm to query a large data set and predict the number of trips automatically, which would add that next level of rigor to this tool. But I think just even now, just being able to plan it and seeing the costs update automatically and some of the impacts happening, it's pretty cool. So you see I'm removing more and more car parks and adding more and more just as I start adding bike lane down Amherst Street.